Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Rotoworld Fantasy Basketball Q&A. I'm Raphielle Johnson, joined as always by Noah Rubin. Pretty eventful Tuesday morning / early afternoon already. Nico Harrison has been fired by the Mavericks and Joel Embiid is now out. The right knee issue, that's the other knee. The left knee was the one that was operated on last year. Not looking good for the big fella. Hopefully he's not out for too long. And then you got the Darius Garland injury last night too. Toe injury that first was an issue in March, aggravated during the playoffs, got surgery. Now he's back on the shelf. So quite a bit for us fantasy managers to kind of sift through here.
Yeah, and I think if you heard it and then you heard it again, that'd be aggravating it. But now it's like at this point, would we actually be able to use the term re-aggravate? Like, would this actually be re-aggravate? Because it's like he aggravated it again.
He aggravated the aggravation.
Yeah. Right. Like I just think that maybe I don't know, maybe this is an acceptable time to use that. But the Embiid update is frankly terrifying because it's like it's the other knee. He's already been kind of managing that one. The language in the tweet was like that he'll be updated as appropriate, or updates will be provided as appropriate, and that's terrifying.
Yeah,
just for the 76ers in general, because he was playing pretty well in limited minutes. Like they were doing the right things. They were limiting his minutes. They were not playing him back-to-backs, and still, so that really stinks. The Nico Harrison thing felt inevitable. I don't know. The timing of it is semi-surprising, but I guess it's also just kind of, hey, like let's not let this go on any longer. Let's try and just fix a mistake, even though it's going to take a while to make up for that one. So,
the Embiid one, obviously, it's the unfortunate aspect of him personally, but from a fantasy standpoint, they only played 2 games this week, so you're not going to get anything from him there. Andre Drummond, Adembona. Drummond's been better thus far, so I guess you kind of go all in with him from a streaming standpoint. And we're also waiting to hear anything on Paul George in terms of when he will be back. So, yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's get into some of these questions. Papa Cold One is back. Thanks for coming back on the show. 12-team 9-cat head-to-head question. Picked up Ace Bailey before the start. Is he a hold for the rest of the season now? And is this a good time to swoop Brandon Williams off the wire?
I think Ace Bailey should be a hold. It's hard to say rest of the season. Just kind of depends on, if he goes back to the bench for a stretch of games, then maybe not. But I am encouraged the fact that he is entering the starting lineup. Definitely think he's a hold for now.
Yeah.
Brandon Williams, I don't know. What do you think, Rob? I think he had that good game. Yeah. Okay. So he did move into the starting lineup last night. That's good to see. It's been a nice stretch here because I remember blurbing it after the Wizards game, I believe, and saying, hey, he played more minutes than D'Angelo Russell and all the other point guards. So it's cool that they actually moved him into the starting lineup. Hopefully that sticks. I think I'd go pick him up.
Yeah. I'm going to jump ahead. There's another Brandon Williams question here. Okay. Is he a must grab? 12-team 9-cat head-to-head keeper or redraft? I think he is a must grab because, quite frankly, the D'Angelo Russell experience has not worked out. Who could have foresaw that happening, right? But it was basically a case of, grab him, see if he can kind of hold on until Kyrie gets back. But they seem to also assume that Anthony Davis will remain healthy. And I think we know his track record that you can't assume such a thing. So, I think Brandon Williams is definitely a must grab. Either one. He's not going to be someone that you keep for future seasons, but for now, you definitely want to pick him up.
Yeah, I think so. It's worth riding the hot hand. They don't have much figured out offensively in Dallas, so if they have a guy that is now starting and scoring, they have to play him. So I think it's worth adding.
Yeah. All right, Evelyn, welcome back. Which PG should I own for the rest of the season? Jeremiah Fears, Davion Mitchell, or Brandon Williams? Also, Kevin Huerter or Jalen Tyson?
I'd say no to Huerter, but I feel fine with the rest of them, I think. Tyson with Garland going back down. Fears.
No, I think, this one is it's
just choosing between.
Yeah, choosing between Huerter and Tyson.
Okay. So then Tyson over Herter. Herter was good in their last game. He's been a pretty solid source of offense off the bench. But I think Tyson potentially starting. I'd rather have that. I mean, I think we get a better update on Darius Garland, but also with Kobe White coming back at some point, that's going to limit Herter as well. But for the first part, probably feel safest about Fears just because Tyler Hero is going to come back and who knows what's going to happen in Dallas. Just like rest of the season, I feel good about Brandon Williams short term, but if he stops hitting shots and D'Angelo Russell starts hitting shots, like what's to stop them from kind of switching up who gets the minutes? And it's just temporary until Kyrie Irving gets back, or maybe they make a trade at the deadline or even before that.
Yeah, I think the Tyson situation is interesting because he started the first 2 games, but so did Sam Merrill. And Sam Merrill stayed in the lineup for the following 2, and DeAndre Hunter jumped into the starting lineup. So he certainly has promise. I think in the short term, I would lean Herter just because you're waiting for Kobe White and Josh Giddey. But over the course of the season, I can see an argument for Tyson as well. He's picking up more minutes, giving him more responsibilities, and I think he's going to be a good one for them down the line. As for the point guards, I think for the rest of the season, I go Jeremiah Fears just because no matter what they try down there, that team's going to stink. So, and he's going to have to play plenty. So I think he's the one I would go with. I would probably go Williams second just because of what we've seen recently. Mitchell's been good, but like you mentioned, Tyler Hero is going to be back, and then that's going to I think it's going to negatively impact his fantasy value, even if he remains in the starting lineup, which I kind of think he will, just because of the defense. Okay, Yannick Da Silva is looking for some suggestions here. Trade Bilal Coulibaly and Trae Young for who?
Raph will take a bag of chips, but no, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not.
Value.
You what?
I don't really like the value for either of these guys right now. They're both hurt, and I think this is one where it depends on your roster build or your league build. Like if you're factoring in turnovers, I think that kind of hurts Trae Young to a certain extent. But if you aren't worried about that, maybe you can sell the upside. But I don't know, that contract situation, the fact that Daniels and Johnson having the ball in their hands more has benefited both of them. I don't know what I would be willing to give up to take these 2 guys on.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because it almost just makes more sense to just kind of wait it out because if you're trying to trade Trae Young, you're probably going to have to go back like a round of value. If you're still assuming and like valuing him as where he was drafted, which was early second round, you're probably not going to be able to get someone that was drafted in that range, frankly. Unless someone feels way more confident about having Trae Young rostered and knowing that he will be back, but then should be somewhat healthy after that.
Yeah.
Versus having a guy like Anthony Davis, who is like just such a question mark. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't. If I was trading for Trae Young and Bilal Coulibaly, I wouldn't give up Tyrese Maxey. I wouldn't give up Devin Booker. Wouldn't give up Alperen Şengün. I don't think so. You're really probably going to end up giving up a good bit of upside just to be able to move them. Now, maybe that's what you want or need to do because you're 0-3. 0-3 in the league.
0-3.
Yeah, we've played 3 weeks. And like need somebody that's producing right now. Yeah. But you're probably gonna have to sacrifice a good bit of value.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. All right, Ryan, welcome back. He's got a trade here. Who wins this trade? My Butler quickly, Shaedon Sharpe for Siakam and Kobe White, 12-team ESPN points. He'd be able to keep one of Hunter, Tyson, John Collins as well, and have Ace and Nurkic on the wire. He's got 4 players in IR too.
Whew. I think I'd rather have Siakam and Kobe White.
Yeah.
I think I would. I mean, Quickly's been a little bit better. Shaedon Sharpe's getting better. I'm assuming Jimmy Butler is Like he's Jimmy Butler.
He's been good, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has been. Yeah, and then I don't know. I guess my follow up here. So I think Siakam and Kobe White, but this is saying that Ace and Nurkic are both on the waiver wire? Would you drop John Collins to get Ace Bailey?
I would.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking so too.
He started last night and he wasn't very good. And I don't know, that situation with the Clippers just feels untenable for anyone not named James Harden or Ivica Zubac from a fantasy standpoint. I know Derrick Jones Jr. has been good, but I don't know if you trust him to be like the top 100 player or close to that for the rest of the season. So I think I would go Siakam and Kobe. My one concern is a shutdown for Siakam because, Indiana, they're not going anywhere anytime fast. Even when they get TJ McConnell back, it's like, what's that really going to do for you? So I think if we're just going straight off of like on-court play, I would go Siakam and Kobe. But the question mark for Siakam is one where I kind of lean in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't end up happening. And then Kobe White, I knew there was an update, but like being assigned to the G League, he should be back soon enough that you're not losing out on too much value there.
Yep. Okay. Would you trade Jimmy Butler to get Cooper Flag, or is that too much to give up?
I think I would do that. I think you're selling high on Jimmy Butler and getting Cooper Flag when his value is lowest. I think I'm operating as if Cooper Flag is going to progress over the course of the season. He already is starting to play a little better.
Yeah.
So if he ends up just being really bad all season, then I think that I will be in the same boat as everyone else and being very surprised. But Jimmy Butler just being an older player and having a somewhat of an injury history, I would rather have Cooper Flag. And I think it's pretty even. Like it's a pretty even trade here. So I guess that's the thing is like, I don't think it would be an overpay to trade Jimmy Butler to get Cooper Flag. Maybe that's a better way to answer the question.
Man, I think I would do it. I think I'd do it just because of, the Jimmy Butler availability history. He seems to be in a good place with the Warriors, so maybe it won't be an issue this season, but I can see that potentially cropping up at some point, and then you're buying the promise of Cooper Flag, so I can see that as well. You're hoping once they get Kyrie back on the floor, that will kind of unlock him a bit more. So I think with that in mind, I would make the trade. Okay, and he's got another one. DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Tyson, John Collins, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Ace Bailey, Yusuf Nurkic, TJ McConnell. Keep two of them.
Oof. Gosh, being a points league is tough too.
Yeah.
Do you have a pretty confident? I want to pretty confidently say no TJ McConnell, and I would say in a points league no Yusuf Nurkic, no John Collins, and then I think
I'd keep Ace Bailey for sure.
I agree
I'd keep
with that.
Ace Bailey for one. I think, man, my question with DeAndre Hunter is what happens when Max Strus is healthy? So, but and I guess you can ask that for Jalen Tyson as well.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm going to say no Tyson. I'm going to say no Tyson.
Yeah. I guess Nickeil would be the other one I'd keep, but because I think he's still going to get decent minutes when Trae Young returns. So
right.
I don't really feel too good about any of these guys beyond Ace Bailey. We're talking about like rest of season value.
I'll say Hunter and Ace Bailey, but I don't feel like it can't be Nickeil Alexander-Walker too. But I feel like I'm pretty confident in that top three just because Garland coming back, Strus coming back. I think that impacts Tyson first and then DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Hunter's either going to continue to start or be the sixth man, and then Strus will do the other thing. But Hunter's been playing really, really well recently, or like just really all season.
Yeah.
So I think I'll stick with Hunter and Ace Bailey.
Okay. All right. Keel Alexander Walker or Jalen Tyson? Yeah, he hasn't really produced stock since moving into the starting lineup. So,
and he also missed the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Gosh, is it Jalen Tyson? This is a tough because Nikhil Alexander Walker has missed the last 2 games. We know the defensive sets can be there; they just haven't been. But is that like more of an intentional? Hey, you can't gamble as much on defense because we don't have Trae Young here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna still say Nikhil Alexander Walker just because we know he can get those defensive stats, and I feel like there's more players that can come back and impact Tyson's role than for Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Nikhil in our previous question, so
That's fair.
Picking it too. So,
oh yeah, I guess we both did. Yeah, I just category league versus points league, maybe that. But I don't think it's different there.
True. Okay, are you dropping Jeremiah Fears for?
I'm assuming Brandon Williams.
I'm assuming Brandon Williams. I don't know him personally, so I don't know if he goes by that. But or would you trade Kelly Oubre for Russell Westbrook? Also, would you trade Kelly Oubre for Russell Westbrook rest of the season? I'm not dropping Fears.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather have Jeremiah Fears. Brandon Williams is probably more of a temporary thing, but Jeremiah Fears feels like his starting spot in New Orleans is locked in for 5 years. Obviously, things change in the NBA. That's not a guarantee. But I think I would trade actually with Embiid now. You wouldn't?
Nope. I know Russ can get you numbers, but I'm not trading Oubre. Because I think what he's done is more easily sustainable than what we've seen from Westbrook. And this could be a case for a lot of those vets in Sacramento being put in the proverbial shop window in hopes of getting something at the trade deadline. So rest of the season, I'll take Kelly Oubre.
You think that's what it is in Sacramento, that they're like just kind of letting all the veterans that they want to trade play more and then in the hopes that they'll move them? Because I think that'd be a really good strategy if that's what they're doing. I just don't believe that that's what they're doing.
I know. Yeah, I know it's not. I know it's the Kings, so we kind of have our doubts about their strategic abilities at times. But I think you kind of have to do that with some of these guys because you've seen what you can potentially have with Sabonis, DeRozan, Levine, Malik Monk. He came up in trade rumors during the summer. Like, what? I think they kind of have to be doing that. Because that's not a playoff team. I don't even think it's a play-in team.
I agree with you. Can they trade Russell Westbrook? Okay, he can be traded January 15th.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just didn't know because they signed – I forgot when they signed him, but it was –
I think it was like end of camp.
Oh, here it is. October 16th, so like a week before the regular season starts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on board with sticking with Kelly Oubre. I think rest of season, that's fair. Yeah. I guess my other thing is, could it be that maybe that's what they're doing with like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, etc. Mm-hmm. But everyone kind of knows Russell Westbrook. Like, there's a reason he didn't sign with the Kings until October 16th. And there's a reason that nobody else really had interest. And there's a reason that there was reports that he was going to sign outside of the NBA. And like, that's just what his value is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like that's just.
I don't think he would be one who would get moved, but I think there's other guys in that roster that they could potentially move.
Yeah, but then that could open up more usage for him. I don't know. I'm still I'm seeing scenarios where it could work out really well for Russell Westbrook, but obviously it's still like we've seen what Russell Westbrook has done with big opportunities over the last handful of seasons. Oubre definitely feels safer.
Yeah. Okay, his other question. Would you drop Cam Johnson for Ace Bailey? Would you trade your Kevin Durant for Trae just based on sheer rest of season value?
Do we think this is Durant or Duran? Jalen Duran. And
Jalen
it's just
Duran?
A instead of an E.
Yeah. Which one is it?
Is it A instead of E or is it just no T? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. If it's Kevin Durant, absolutely not. If it's Jalen Duran, I'd think about it, but I don't know if I would do that either.
I agree with Kevin Durant. No, Jalen Duren. I think I would rather have Trae Young. Gosh, is there anyone you can drop other than Cam Johnson? Because I feel like what happens is the moment you drop Cam Johnson is the moment he starts figuring something out. But if he's pretty clearly like the worst player in your team and Ace Bailey is starting now, has more upside for usage, I'd consider that one.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable dropping Cam Johnson. I think this is a case where if, like Noah said, if he's by far your worst player, sure. But he's not as bad as he's looked overall, since the start of the season. I think he's going to need some time, and he'll be fine eventually as he gets fully comfortable with that team. So I don't think I would drop him outright. Maybe try to trade him, if anything, so you can get something there. But okay, let's see. And Brian has a trade question, and I think he already asked you about this, but Kawhi Leonard and Ryan Kalkbrenner or Kevin Durant and Quentin Grimes? Who wins this trade? I think the KD Grimes side wins it personally, because who knows what's going on with Kawhi Leonard, his ankle, and whatever other lower body injuries he may pick up throughout the course of the season. Kalkbrenner's been good, but that's felt really like a hot hand situation in Charlotte. Like if he's playing well, he'll get most of the minutes. Situation like last night, Musa Diabate got most of the minutes because he played better. So I think I would take KD and Grimes, especially with the Embiid situation. And like we mentioned earlier, don't know when Paul George is going to be back either. So I'll take KD and Grimes.
Yeah, that's what I told him as well when he DM'd me. I said, would rather have KD over Kawhi. Feel like Grimes is a bit safer than Ryan Kalkbrenner. Mm-hmm. The Embiid injury news just helps that a little bit more. So
yeah. All right. Would you drop Sexton for Brandon Williams, 10-team, 9-cat head-to-head?
I think I would. I think Sexton's still like good and is going to have value throughout the season. I just think that Brandon Williams is better in the moment. And no, I think TJ McConnell is. I'd rather have the other two than TJ McConnell.
Yeah.
But Brandon Williams feels like the answer right now. They just assigned LaMelo Ball to the G League just to practice, so he should be back somewhat soon, which takes some usage away from Colin Sexton. So.
All right, Bruno. My team is hurting with injuries. My commiserations. I was offered a deal with Trey Murphy, Keyshawn George, and Isaiah Hartenstein for Jabari Smith Jr. That's the only one I can think of.
I don't think it's Jabari Walker. So
all right, and which Jalen? Because there are a lot of Jalen's in the NBA.
That one I got no answer for you.
And KD. Man, I don't know. Jeez.
Let's see. There is. Goodness, there's so many Jalen's.
Duren, Brunson, like.
Jalen Smith, Jalen Green, Jalen Johnson, Jalen Duren, Jalen Williams, Jalen Pickett. Yeah.
Oh, Jalen Johnson. All right, there we go.
There we go. Perfect. So Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Johnson, and Trey Murphy, Keyshawn George, and Isaiah Hartenstein for Jabari Smith and Jalen Johnson or Kevin Durant.
Okay.
I think I would take Trey Murphy, Keyshawn George, and Isaiah Hartenstein for Jabari Smith and Kevin Durant.
Okay.
And I'd rather trade Kevin Durant than Jalen Johnson. I'd rather keep Jalen Johnson. Trey Murphy's starting to figure things out. He had that 40-point game the other night. Keyshawn George has been good. Isaiah Hartenstein has been good. Jabari Smith his fantasy upside is just not quite the same as I feel like the rest of the players in this deal. And Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant, but I think this is one of the rare instances where I'd rather take more players. Because usually it's like you're taking more bad players and getting fewer good players. But
I think in terms of those three, I'd try to move Hartenstein. I think he would be the safest one to move. just because I think his ceiling, he's got a good floor, but the ceiling isn't as high as like Trey Murphy or even Keyshawn George for that matter. So I think he would be the one I would try to move. I would hold on to Jalen Johnson. I would not trade him. I would not include him in this deal. So I guess you're looking at Jabari and KD, which I think you'd be able to find enough to compensate for those losses there. Okay, traded Sarr for Derek White, the 10-team 9-cat assist turnover head-to-head where other manager needs bigs and I need guards. I have good rebounders plus bigs like Wemby and Klingon. Good deal. I think, yeah.
Sarr's been playing so well. I don't really want to move him, and I get it, the positional need. I just think that I'd almost be setting my sights a little higher than Derek White, he's been a little bit better recently, kind of a rough start. Ooh, I don't. Yeah, I'd be setting my sights higher than Derek White to trade Alex Sarr right now. He's been way better than I expected him to be in year 2.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. So I think as good as Sarr's been, I kind of feel like he's capable of even more. And I don't know if I'd want to give that up. I think, to Noah's point, you do want to aim a little bit higher. Derek White can give you really good value, but I would kind of look through that. Well, it's too late now. He already made the deal, but I probably would have aimed a little bit higher in terms of the guard you would get in return. But Derek White's a relatively safe option, I think. Okay, is Jake LaRavia a safe drop in shallower category leagues if a prospective player is available on the waiver wire?
Yeah, probably. I don't think he's like, I still really like him in dynasty leagues, like him long term, but if he's not starting and the production's been inconsistent, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think he'll still obviously be in the rotation once LeBron gets back, but what's he going to be able to do in those minutes? And that's going to be the question. Let me pull up their schedule really quick to see what we're looking at for the rest of this week. They've got 3 more games all on the road, so I think LeBron's back in LA practicing, so he's not going to be able to join them for those 3 games. So you may be able to hold on to LaRavia for the rest of the week, and then after they play Milwaukee on Saturday, that's where you kind of make the move there. Either for someone who can get you value on Sunday or with an eye looking forward to week 5. So, okay, Dylan Brooks and Royce O'Neal both holds until Green's eventual return. 10-team 9-cat head-to-head.
I mean, I don't think that they're must holds. I think Royce O'Neal was a must hold until Dylan Brooks got back, but and now he is still starting.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd probably be more willing to hold Royce O'Neal than Dylan Brooks. I just feel like he gives you a little bit more and more categories, and he's more consistent. Isn't gonna kind of take on more responsibility than he probably should. Just gonna take good shots, and he's not gonna just try and become a superstar. So,
yeah, Dylan's a bit too liberal with his shot selection at times. Like,
at times,
I get it. He works hard on defense, so you kind of feel like you earn that right. But
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think they're both holds. I think Dylan Brooks kind of gotten into a pretty good groove getting back from the injury. Royce O'Neal, like Noah said, 3-pointer steals. If you're in a category league and you need production there, he's usually a pretty good bet to get you those guys, to get you those stats. Didn't mention him, but Grayson Allen's been on an absolute heater this year too. So if he's sitting on your waiver wire, go ahead and change that right now. All right. Going back to my earlier question, which trade is better for my team? Butler plus IQ plus Shaden for Siakam and Kobe, or Butler for Siakam and Kobe, or Butler for Flag?
I'd rather do the first one because then you also clear out that roster spot so you don't have to make as many cuts.
Mm-hmm.
It being a points league, definitely. I mean, which we knew, I think, for the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rather do the first trade. I think that Butler and Cooper Flag is pretty comparable, but I feel pretty confident in that I'd rather have Siakam and Kobe White rest the season. So,
yeah, we still can't shake the Siakam potential tank factor here. That's yeah, I think for a points league, I'd probably lean the first trade. But if you wanted to go with the second one, I wouldn't be opposed with that either, just because of the whole who knows what Siakam's going to be able to give you after, say, the trade deadline, in terms of what Indiana may do, where they are in the standings. I don't think they're as bad as they've been, but you kind of wonder if they dug themselves too deep of a hole by the time that part of the year comes around. So I'll go with the first one, but I think it's really close in terms of which one you can kind of pull off here.
mm-hmm.
All right, and we have an opinion from Ray, excuse me. Fears won't be around once DeJounte Murray returns. He's barely relevant now in points leagues. I disagree with that. No, I know the fantasy value hasn't been great, but I don't think he's going to disappear. You don't use a lottery pick on a guy to just, pack him up in, say, January.
If DeJounte's back by then.
Yeah.
Like their record is 2-8 off the top of my head, I think. So, I mean, unless they're close to 500, somewhat below 500, like I don't think you rush a guy back from an Achilles tear. So, like, was the concept of being close to 500 just funny? Or is it...
Yeah, yes, it was. Ain't
okay,
no
so
way.
but if Jordan Poole Zion comes back, they like figure something out. I don't know. Maybe it takes firing Willie Green and that kickstarts. I don't know. There's scenarios where that happens, but I think it's unlikely that they're at that point. So, like, does DeJounte come back in January, or is it like February or March? Is it a limited role then? Is he coming back at all this season? Like, why not give him the extra 8 months to recover from his Achilles tear just to make sure he's fully healthy? So, yeah, I'm not too concerned about DeJounte. Jeremiah Fears is also starting over Jordan Poole. Not saying that they're comparable players or they should be comparable, but I think that there's kind of a commitment, or at least it seems like there's kind of a commitment to making sure that he's starting and playing a lot. And I don't think you rush DeJounte back just to alter that in a lost season.
Yeah, the efficiency numbers in terms of like turnovers, field goal percentage, are probably going to take a hit with Fears. Just that's what tends to happen with a lot of rookies. But
yeah,
I think he's going to play plenty the rest of the season. And, but it is New Orleans. I'm all for people getting paid, but they tossed the keys to Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver. And I think we know how that tends to turn out. So, hey, man, let's just move on before I really upset someone. But Tobias Harris, rest the season in the Roto League. Is he worth stashing in a 14-team league? Thanks for the question, James.
I think he's good to roster. I don't know am I missing something with the word stash, or is it just like hey, just keep him around? Because
IL spot maybe.
But how long is he going to be out?
I think he's still day to day. That's anything.
But I guess it has been 5 games in a row.
Yes. Well, no. Yeah, we're looking at around Thanksgiving actually. So
okay. That's only a couple weeks. Yeah, I still think he's worth stashing. I mean, he's not the best player, but like he's good. I think he's worth keeping around.
Yeah, 14-teamer. I think unless your team's in a spot where you're really struggling, then you can't really, if you need that roster spot and you can't put him in an IL spot, I would hold on to him. Is it worth stashing DeJounte Murray? I think we kind of hit on this. I don't really think so.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is kind of if you have an open IL slot, might as well just leave him in there. But
Yeah.
if you need to move that around, I wouldn't be stressing about making sure to get him for potentially a couple weeks in limited minutes. Maybe you can sell someone on the idea of, hey, DeJounte Murray, like they're saying he could be back by, whatever time, and like try and like sell someone on that. But yeah, I don't feel a need to. I don't think I have him stashed anywhere. Maybe I do, but
Okay. Chad would like to know: would you trade OG Anunoby for Tumani Kamara and Donovan Clingan in the keep 5-9 category league?
the keep 5 aspect is tough because it depends on if you would actually keep any of those guys. Like if it's a 12-team league, I would assume you're not keeping. I don't know. Keeper league rules can be weird. Like if you're getting someone that's 6 values later or 6 rounds later of value, then you're probably going to keep them. Like I don't know. Overall, I think I'd rather just keep OG Anunoby because I can't imagine like a standard 12-team one that you're keeping either Tumani or Clingan. So I'd rather just have OG.
Yeah, I would keep OG. He won't be 29 until July. So it's not like you're talking about if he were, say, 32 or 33, I would consider this a bit more. But I think at that age, you can certainly afford to hold on to him. Because like Noah said, unless Kamara or Clingan absolutely blows up the rest of the season, I don't know if those are guys that you won't be able to get in your draft next fall as opposed to stashing them. All right. Does Luke Cornett have any value in 12-team leagues? Eating some boards and blocks.
12-team leagues makes it tough, but I think so. Right before he got hurt, they were using the 2 big lineup with him and Wemby. Then he missed, what is that, like 8 games or so. Came back and immediately played 20 minutes, had 16.7 boards and a block. I think that 2 big lineup is terrifying because I think, and my big thing with the 2 big lineups is at least one of them has to be like very dynamic for it to work. And obviously Wemby is. And I think, yeah, that's a pretty scary lineup. So yes, he has some value, but it might come inconsistently because the minutes might be somewhat inconsistent at times. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I think he does have value, but 12-team league, it might be who are you going to drop for him. So
yeah, I feel a lot better about him in 14-team leagues than 12. But I think he can have some value. They've played him alongside Wemby at times. We'll see if we get back to that point because you've got so many forwards that they can put out there at the forward. We're talking Harrison Barnes starting, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan is available now too. So, excuse me, I think that kind of limits Cornett in terms of 12-teamers, but he certainly provided good value last night against the Bulls. So definitely worth considering. Oh, the Yahoo ranking question. I'm not either one of those. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, yeah, it's not good. I'm only a bronze. Like, I think that's kind of the point. It's like, just because you write about it doesn't always translate to winning your leagues. If we're, so yeah.
I agree
there
with
you
that.
go.
And also, I don't, maybe you do, I don't ever join random leagues, like random Yahoo leagues, which maybe I should, but I don't. So usually, I mean, like my 3 leagues this year on Yahoo are all with other analysts. So like they're all very good. And so, yeah, I don't even know where to find that, but
yeah,
maybe I do.
3 of my 4 Yahoo leagues are with other analysts as well. The one
you say you're bronze?
Yeah.
I'm silver. Let's go, Raph.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you play a lot of leagues and a lot of random leagues, you're going to have more opportunities to pump up your ranking. So it's not a big deal to me. I'm just there for the money. All right, Jalen Johnson or Kevin Durant? Oh, this is from an earlier question. Don't worry. let's go ahead. Let's move forward here. I have your insight as to why you guys are lower on TJ McConnell.
I don't think that he's bad. I'm not low on him as a player. I just how many minutes is he gonna get? Like I don't think just because there's a bunch of injuries that they're just gonna all of a sudden play TJ McConnell 35 minutes a game. Andrew Nimhard, unless I missed something, is healthy now. So I assume that TJ McConnell is gonna be coming off the bench. And then same thing we were kind of talking about with Siakam, like there is a shutdown risk at some point.
Yeah.
TJ McConnell's 33 at this point. So like it is kind of a wasted season, not wasted season, but like a lost season for the Pacers. I don't necessarily see them just force feeding him minutes. So it just kind of not seeing too much upside there other than he is generally pretty productive, or he can be very productive in short stints, but it's just hard for me to bank on that.
Yeah. I think he's someone who has a relatively safe floor when he's playing, but the ceiling's kind of limited. So that would sum up my thoughts on TJ McConnell as a fantasy option. All right, James would like to know, should I start Kyle Filipowski tonight?
I don't think so. I mean, he has been starting, so unless there's a move into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, no, I don't think I would.
I wouldn't do it because he played a season high 26 minutes last night and gave you 7, 3, and 3 with one block shot. That doesn't scream pick him up. But I think 6-game night, you'll probably be able to find some better alternatives. One player I would strongly consider is Trendon Watford in Philadelphia. You know, he's been playing pretty well. Had his first career triple-double over the weekend, if I want to say. So I would look for him well before I'd even consider Filipowski, especially with Embiid out, no Paul George. So. Okay, Ray would like to know, are we waiting for Brandon Miller to possibly return? Would you drop him for Brandon Williams in a points league? I think you have to wait.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to drop Brandon Miller. I mean, it's the Hornets, so it's going to get frustrating because they don't provide much clarity. I think the last update I saw was reevaluated in 2 weeks, and that was a little over a week ago. So unfortunately, what it's been for the last few years is they'll say, hey, there's a reevaluation, and then they just won't say anything, and then they'll randomly drop something, and then it'll be questionable out, doubtful out. Hopefully it's not that same headache, but I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not dropping Brandon Miller. I think you have to hold out hope that he'll be back, close to Thanksgiving, if not a little bit later than that. But I'm not dropping him for Brandon Williams. All right, is Scotty Barnes a sell high, or is this sustainable?
I think let me look up his actual numbers just to see if anything sticks out. But to me, it is sustainable. He's always been pretty good about rebounds, assists, defensive stats. The points are around the same. The field goal percentage is good, but it's not like an absurd 55% or anything like that. Like it's an improvement from last year. It's a slight improvement from 2 years ago. So I think what he's doing right now is definitely sustainable.
Yeah, I think the biggest question would be the three-point shooting. He's averaging 2 per game and 45.5% shooting. That's what I would say would be that would not be sustainable, but I think everything else he can definitely do that. So, and if he doesn't shoot threes at this clip the whole season, I don't think his value is going to take a severe hit either. So I think I would hold on to him. All right. Would you drop Derek Queen or Daniel Gafford for Andre Drummond? 9Cat head-to-head.
Probably Gafford. I think, the minutes just haven't been there, and it's disappointing. I thought he was going to, literally wrote this in the start-sit column, hey, start Daniel Gafford this weekend.
Yeah.
Really good matchups, bad rebounding teams.
And
he hurt his ankle and then played 19 minutes, and he was like Jock Landale, and then Alex Sarr was having a great season, but Gafford should be able to control the glass there. Just didn't happen. So, yeah, I'd be looking to add Andre Drummond with the Embiid news, and I'd rather hold on to Queen because he's been playing really, really well. They just need to start him. Just please, just start him.
I don't know if they're getting from starting Kevon Looney. And yeah, like I could see if it were Yves Missi, if he were. I think he's still out right now, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he was back. They just didn't play him last night.
See, come on, man. Like that. Because at least he was their first round pick last year. Like, okay, you're gonna see what you have there. But they even started DeAndre Jordan the game, and it's like I don't want to talk about the Pelicans anymore. We're just gonna move on. Thoughts on Brandon Williams now that he's starting at point guard in Dallas? Spent a lot of time on him today, but we might as well talk about him a bit more.
Pick him up. I think I would recognize that there is a pathway for this to be not quite rest of season, but have a good couple months. There's also a pathway for this to be a couple days of starting, and then he's not able to keep it up and something changes. Like I would take a chance.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I think short term, you definitely roll the dice. The rest of the season, I'm not as high on him just because of the Kyrie factor. But right now, I think he's in a good spot. All right, Yannick. He's giving up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Suggs.
I think if you're going to trade SGA, getting a player back like Maxey is great. I think I'd probably want someone that's a little bit better than Suggs, at least a little bit more productive, because we don't know exactly how they're going to manage his minutes rest of the season. Like, does he ever play back-to-backs? Do his minutes go up? So I'd rather probably get Tyrese Maxey and someone that's a little bit better or that's a little bit more reliable than Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, he's still not playing both ends of back-to-backs either.
Right.
So if I were you, I would ask for someone a little bit better than Jalen Suggs, as Noah said, just even from the availability standpoint. All right, you got a Hawks question. Is Zachary Risacher showing some signs, or does his value shrink, once Atlanta is at full strength?
Yes and yes. I think he has been playing better the last couple of games. His minutes have been up. He's hitting shots like it's good, but he's always – say always, it's a little bit into his second season, but he's kind of had this short leash with Quinn Snyder where it's like, yes, you're starting, but you're not going to play the same amount of minutes as the rest of the starters. I think he is progressing and he's going to be a very good player, but it's hard to imagine him playing 30 plus minutes per game just based on what we've seen in the past.
Yeah. Look out for Vit Krejci, apparently, but yeah. Hey, man.
Listen, the Hawks G League development has been really good because, you have Krejci, you have Jalen Johnson, who spent his whole first season in the G League, basically. And now Mo Gay, yeah. And no, I think that's it. But still, 3 examples of players that really benefited from being on your G League team. I think that's a good sample size there. I think I used that point a lot talking about Kobe Buffkin. So it's not 100% success rate. But
hey, that happens. I was on the James Wiseman bandwagon for way too long. So we all have our moments. Love Shaden's season high 31 points, but he did absolutely nothing else. Can he figure it out?
I think this has kind of always been the thing with Shaden Sharp is this dude can score, but he's not really giving you too much in many other categories. So I think we just kind of have to enjoy that the points are where they are.
Yeah. He might be the Cam Thomas of the Western Conference. He'll get you some big scoring nights, but nothing else.
Yeah.
I do have to give credit where it's due in Portland, though. Jeremy Grant has been really good this far. Given my fantasy, given my fantasy opinions on him in the past, I need to get that out there.
Yeah, no, he's been really good as a 6th man.
All right. Hardy would like to know what's your favorite fantasy format. Come to love Roto the most, especially if it has an option draft. Salary draft here, whatever.
Yeah. I think, salary auction draft, like that's cool. I think it's very enjoyable. I just think that it's hard to do too many of those. Like if I had like one very committed group that like this is what we did and we spent this day doing it, or this, we like, that's very fun. It's just hard for me to make that work. So I think I did one mock like that this year and that was it. But that with a dynasty league would be a dynasty, just pretty standard 9-cat head to head. Roto has its appeal. I just prefer the head-to-head matchup. Yeah. I like the hype every week of it coming down to like, a Sunday night staying up for me till like 1 a.m. and it's like, not saying I do this consistently, but like everything comes down to one player getting a steal or something like that. Like the excitement behind that is very fun to me.
Yeah, I prefer head-to-head for that reason. I kind of feel like if you fall too far behind in Roto, it can be really difficult to make up that distance. So that's why I prefer head-to-head. Give me a standard draft with a third-round reversal. I think that would be my favorite draft format. Salary drafts can be fun, but I don't want to sit there for like 2.5 hours. And it's like you're bidding on $1 players at the end of it. And it's like, I've done that. I don't really care for it just because of the time factor. I kind of feel like with a snake draft, hour tops, and you're done. So give me that draft format personally. All right, we got another Ace Bailey question. What do you think about him, and will he stick as a starter after last night's performance?
I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, but plenty of upside. We think he's going to be really good. It was just a matter of how consistent his role is going to be. He is starting. I hope that he continues to start. Don't see why he wouldn't based off just last night's game. So I'd be looking to add him if it made sense. Like if there was a player that would be worthy of a drop, but it's hard to just kind of give out a general range of, yes, these players I would drop and then these players I would not. But if something makes sense, then yeah.
I've already picked Ace up in a couple leagues. I drafted him, then dropped him, then picked him back up. So I think he's going to be in a good spot with him the rest of the season. Will Keegan Murray's return push the Kings up into a contender role out west? Seriously, thank you for adding that word. How will he look for Sacramento once he's fully back?
Raph was about to give a rant about the Kings' contender status.
You watched The Wire, right?
I have not. I have it on my list of shows to watch, but I have not.
Those of you in the chat who have watched The Wire, I was really about to drop Clay Davis's favorite word in response to that first question. But we're not going to do that. I'm just going to say that I kind of feel like they low-key sabotaged him last year when they brought in Levine and DeRozan, because that pushed him to like 4th in the pecking order offensively. I think he's going to give good value. He's their best defender amongst guys who are probably going to start. But the scoring, I think that's going to be the issue for him just because they have so many guys who are wired to score.
Yeah, I think I like Keegan Murray as a player. Don't love him long-term or anything like that, but I like him. It's just I just don't. He'll be rosterable. He has upside to be good. I just don't know how consistent it'll be for fantasy.
All right. Will Peyton Pritchard's performance go up, down, or do you hold him for the rest of the season? You hold him.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what he's been doing. I assume it'll go up. It's not been great so far.
Yeah.
Obviously higher usage than he was last year, more defensive attention than he had last year. But I think the main thing or the main reason for a value drop off is that he's just not hitting as many threes.
Yep.
And I just assume that he'll start hitting more of those. Maybe not consistently. It's a very different role for him this year, but.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay. MPJ and Nurkic for Derek White. 9-guy head-to-head.
I'd do that. I'd rather have Derek White.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's selling high on Nurkic, who I don't feel confident in as being a rest of season, very strong producer. And Michael Porter Jr. is like just penciled in as a shutdown candidate for February.
Yeah.
So, Derek White.
All right. What's your projection on the center rotation in New Orleans with Looney, Messi, and Queen? I agree with you. It is frustrating he still starts Kevon Looney. The Zion's return only complicate this.
I'm not gonna create a burner account. Just start like commenting on our Q and A's. Just as it's like, hey Raph, what do you think about the Pelicans? Like, what do you think about the Kings? What do you think about Jeremy Grant? It's so frustrating because I'm like, and I feel like I've said this on every Q and A now. It's like there's this clear direction for the future of, hey, we're gonna have Jeremiah Fierce figure this thing out. He's gonna start. And we're going to probably put a player out there who's playing well, but probably not our best option to try and win games right now, but it's good for his development. And then you're going to take the center room and you're going to say, yeah, sorry, Derek Queen. I know we just traded two firsts to get you, but you got to earn these minutes, man. Kevon Looney is really good. Like, he's very solid. And like, he is a really like solid rotation center. But why are you not prioritizing this guy? Like, I don't know. Maybe they're just, I don't know what's going on. If it's like Willie Green, hey, you have to win more games if you want to keep your job, or if it's like, hey, it's too early in the season for us to prioritize the future. But I don't know. It's hard to give a projection because what they're doing right now doesn't make too much sense to me.
Like, they put themselves in a position where they can't afford to let Derek Queen just go out there, play 30-plus minutes and, figure things out on the fly because of the draft pick that they included to make that move, which kind of shooting themselves in the foot because you need a player like him to play those minutes. I think I'd be interested to hear what those trade conversations were like. And did they really need to do that to get Derek Queen? Maybe not from Atlanta, but could they have gone like another pick or two lower than that? And
there was a article I read months ago where it was describing like the Hawks' reaction to the trade, where they were like basically they got the call and then like said, hey, this is what they offered, and Anzi Salah was like literally like called Joe Dumars, just be like, hey, like, are you sure this is what you're offering? And they said yes. I don't remember where I read that or what article it was, but I remember I was like, that's really funny.
All right. We got a couple minutes. We're going to kind of fly through these as quickly as possible. Is Josh Minot a hold and 12-team 9-cat?
I say yes. I think that if there's someone better on the wire that you feel really comfortable with, then sure, go for it. But I would be looking to hold him.
Yeah. I have my doubts on him the rest of the season, but for now, he's giving you top owner value. I definitely think he's someone to hold on to. Another Minot question: Ace Bailey or Josh Minot the rest of the season?
See, this is like what I'm like a tough one, like where I'd probably lean Ace Bailey. I really like Josh Minot, but this is the guy they just spent the top 5 pick on, and he's now starting. I'd probably rather have Ace, yeah.
All right. Is Max Christie a sneaky grab for more than just a short term, or is he purely benefiting from injuries?
I think he is benefiting from injuries. I also think he's a good player.
Yeah.
But I mean, what injuries would he specifically be benefiting from? Like Kyrie Irving's out.
I think the biggest thing he's benefited from is just Klay Thompson's been poor.
Right.
So
moved to the bench. So I feel pretty good about Max Christie rest of the season.
Yeah, and we'll see what their interim GM, whoever that is, decides to do with this roster. Maybe they can move Klay Thompson at some point. I don't know what type of value he would fetch, but I think Christie's someone that they probably should be a bit more invested in for the future than Klay Thompson, obviously, because of the age and him still being on a rookie contract. And Aditya has one more question. Needs to drop someone when Zach Edey returns and free up a roster spot for streaming. Minot, Dylan Brooks, Trey Jones, Oubre, Jeremy Grant, Hachimura. Who would you drop?
I think Dylan Brooks. I think Hachimura is a candidate. Trey Jones is a candidate, but with Giddey and Kobe White both out right now, I don't want to drop him yet. It's Brooks or Hachimura, and I feel like Hachimura has been playing pretty well this year, and I would rather just hold him and drop Brooks.
I would drop Trey Jones, even with the injuries to Giddey and White. He would be the one I would drop because I think he's kind of limited in terms of the upside. So that would be the one I would drop. Okay, last question. We're already past 3 o'clock, but last question. Please rank Drummond, Ace, Suggs, Minot for the rest of the season.
Oof. Okay, so we set the baseline of Ace over Minot. What has Drummond even done as a starter? Like, how good has he been? Because I feel like this is obviously early, and we have like the history. Okay, so he had a double-double in that start, has another double-double.
17 and 12 in his one start.
Yeah. Sure. I think I'd go Suggs, Drummond, Ace, Minot. Because I still think Suggs is a couple tiers ahead of the rest of these guys. Mm-hmm. So with the hope that even if he doesn't play back-to-backs, that he gets up to 25 or 30 minutes. Drummond, I don't know, maybe I got to bump Drummond down, even though that was a really good start because, I mean, we saw him have some rough stretches as a starter last year. And there's also, even if it seems unlikely with Joel Embiid, there is the chance that right knee is just fine. He missed a couple games and then he's back to just playing on a minutes restriction, but that's eliminating his value. So maybe it's Suggs, Ace, Minot, Drummond. I don't know. Do you have a strong opinion?
That's what I would go with. I'd consider Drummond third over Minot just because of the Embiid factor, but I wouldn't have an issue with Suggs, Ace, Minot, Drummond either.
Yeah.
All right. We went over our time. Just want to thank you guys as always for sending in some fun questions to answer. Thanks again to Noah. We will be back on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Let's figure out how to close out week 4 strong. Thank you and have a good one.